Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel, or if you are new here then welcome. As you might be able to guess, my name is Tasha and I am going to be doing videos about books. I have done one reading vlog in the past, I think it was a weekend reading vlog, and then from then I was like, you know what, I'm going to be doing this constantly. And then I did one video and never picked it up again, but I figured that now is as good time as any to pick it up because I am going to be joining the Whateverathon in June. This is hosted by Maddie from Book Browsing Blog. I will leave her video down below explaining the readathon because I'm sure she can explain it a lot more concisely and making more sense than I can. But I am going to be on the High and Epics team, which is the black team. I love a bit of fantasy. I don't know if necessarily I'm going to fit all into the high and epic fantasy role, but I do love me some fantasy. I was really torn between this one and the Dreams and Drama Queens, but I thought that was a bit more kind of magical realism and things than full-on fantasy. So yeah, I've joined the black team. And I have books basically for 14 of the 15 prompts. I am ignoring the book with mental health and disability thing at the moment because I am going through such an anxiety spike at the moment. I don't think it's good for my mental health at all to be reading about other people with mental health issues. So I am ignoring that one completely, but I have books picked out for the rest of the prompts. I'm not necessarily going to read all 15 books. I tend to seem to read about 7 books a month at the moment, and I'm going holiday in June, but I'm going to read as much as I can. And I think picking it all out gets a little bit more of a variation and a bit more to choose from if I don't fancy reading one of the books at the time. Sorry for the child in the background. He is, believe it or not, in bed, but he's being awkward going to sleep, but at least he's in bed, so that's something. So kicking off with the TBR. First we have a book whose cover reminds you of a pride flag. I was honestly so stuck on this one for a while. I was going to search through my shelves, I have no idea if any of these books will ever remind me of such a thing. Then I came across Wayfarer by Alexandra Bracken, and this book to me just screams the asexual flag. I don't know if anyone else thinks this. I did check with my husband just to make sure I wasn't going crazy, but he agreed it was pretty kind of similar, so I'm going for it. This is the second book in the Passenger series, which I read the first book of last month, I think. And this is a duology based around time travel. You have your main character, Etta, who is quite happily plodding on with her life. Then one day at a piano recital or a violin recital, I can't remember which, she plays an instrument. Something happens and she gets whisked back in time to go on a scavenger hunt to save her mother. And the first half of the first book I found kind of slow, but then it really started picking up and I got really into it. And I'm quite excited to dive right into the second book. I never seem to read series close together, so I'm excited to actually do that this time. Then second we have an author's debut. Now originally I did pick up Unwind by Neil Shusterman, but I had a Google and it turns out that's not actually his debut novel. He has quite a backlog before that. But then it hit me not long ago. I ordered Dream Dark Blackbringer by Laini Taylor because this was her debut novel, and it's the only book of hers I've never read, and she's my favorite author. So I decided I was going to pick this up and read it, and then I haven't had a chance to fit it into any TBRs since then. So I am so excited to finally get a chance. Honestly, I'm not really sure what this book is about, but it's Laini Taylor and it's fairies, and that's really all I needed to know. Then we have an indie book / self-published. This one might be sort of blurring the lines a little bit because I've gone for A Promise of Fire by Amanda Boucher. Now this was published by the company Piatkus, I think I might be saying that right, hopefully I am, which was originally a indie publisher, but they have since been bought out by another company and joined another load of others. So I don't know if it counts now. However, I think when this book was published, they were still an indie publisher. So I am going for it. Yeah, I'm not really sure, again, what this book is actually about. I mostly bought it because everyone was going on about it, saying it's like a really good like fantasy romance, and it's a really easy read and it's really fun. And so I pretty much picked it up based on the hype, I'm not gonna lie. So if I don't like it, then it's BookTube's fault. And then we have the To Fit a TBR game prompt. And this one, I'm going to do my own TBR game, so I'm going to go grab it. So my game's pretty simple. Here I have, if I can get rid of the empty card sleeves. There's a lot of them. I have mostly of a set of cards. I haven't completely 100% finished yet, but basically I will shuffle through them and then pick out. When I'm doing the main game, 7 cards, but for this, I'm just going to do the one, obviously. So that will be, I can't read what that says, a random number generator. So I will need a random number generator to find out what book I'm going to read. I feel like in that I should probably know how many books are on my shelf, so I'll best go count them. Okay, so I have 112 books on my shelf. So computer, pick a number between 1 and 112.
Your random number between 1 and 112 is 44.
Right, 44. So I will be right back again. I know it's really awkward. My bookcase is in my bedroom and I'm in the lounge, so lots of running around. Okay, so this we have The End of Her by Shari Lapina. I'm not fully sure what this book is about. My husband bought it for me one day because I wasn't feeling very well. But from what I can tell, it follows the main characters, Stephanie and Patrick. And they have just got married and they have newborn twins. But one day a woman from Patrick's past comes back into their lives and informs Stephanie that Patrick was responsible for his wife's murder. And Stephanie isn't really sure what to believe, and then I think some secrets start coming out. So yeah, I'm really excited to read this one. I don't read enough like thrillers and stuff, possibly because, you know, I'm sort of stuck in my fantasy bubble. So yeah, it'll be really nice to sort of break out of it and read something a bit different for once. Then we have a book from a bookish creator's favourites list. And for this one, I have gone for Frostheart by Jamie Littler. If you have watched a single video from How to Train Your Gavin by now, you may have known he loves Frostheart. It's one of his absolute favourite books. So this is a middle grade fantasy and it follows our main character Ash, who has lost his parents. Then one day I think he gets picked up on this like ship and goes traveling to find them. I think that's the plot of this. Like I said, Gavin absolutely loves this book. He's just like rave reviews about it, and I've seen a few other people as well. They absolutely love it and they love the second one like even more. So I did actually have this on my book, my TBR for Whateverathon last year, but I never got around to it. For some reason I sort of gave up halfway through. So yeah, I'm really excited to get to this one. It's also just like the cutest illustrations inside, and it's got sprayed edges and it's really cute looking. And again, it'll be a nice little kind of quick, easy read because it's a middle grade. So if I'm feeling a bit like burdened with all the fantasy, I can sort of break it up a little bit. Then we have to reread a comfort read, and I'm actually doing a Shadowhunter reread at the moment. I have just finished Chain of Iron. It was so good. So for this one, I am going to be listening to the audiobook for City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. I'm not even going to begin to explain what this book is about at this point because A, I think if you don't know it, you've probably been living under a rock, and B, where do you even begin? It's become such a dense, intricate world. It's impossible to know where to begin, where to end, or anything. So yeah, just that's the book I'm going to be reading. And then we're going for a book that's out of your comfort zone. And this one, I am going for All the Lights We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. This is a historical fiction, which is something I really don't read very often. And this is set in World War II, I believe, and it follows the life of a blind person, I want to say, or deaf. And that's pretty much all I know about it. I've heard this book is better going in not really knowing too much, so I've tried to avoid any like spoilers or anything really about what this book is about, but I have heard it's really moving and it's really intense, and it will make you feel all the feels, which is something I sort of try to avoid because I don't like feelings. But so definitely in every realm this falls in a book outside of my comfort zone. And then we have a book with POC representation. This can be characters or the author, or as I have gone for, if I can find it, both. I will be reading Kingdom of Souls by Rena Barron. I actually already started reading this, but it was a couple of days ago. So yeah, I was already like 40 pages, I think, through this book, but then I found out about Whateverathon after that. And so I decided that I was going to put this one down for then and pick it up for the thon because I saw there was a book featuring person of colour representation. And so yeah, this book follows our main character Ara, who is born to a family of witch doctors, but she doesn't have any magic herself. Then one day a woman appears and tells her that she can get magic, but it will come at a deep price. Ara really doesn't want to do that, but then children in her village starts to go missing and she has to question whether she's made the right decision. I've really enjoyed what I've read so far. Like, I'm loving the writing style. It's all really magical and intense, and I'm just like really atmospheric. I feel myself there as I'm reading it, and it's really nice to rereading out of books like old other cultures and stuff. I'm really enjoying that at the moment. So then we have a buddy read, and for this one I have a nice short book. We have Alloy of Law by Brandon Sanderson. This is the first book in the Second Era Mistborn trilogy. I believe this is like a gunpowder fantasy, so it's got like modern day weapons and like this intense fantasy setting. And apart from that, I don't really know anything too much about this one. I adored the first Mistborn series so much. I've read it I think like 3-4 times by now. So I want to keep like this one completely at a blank. I'm reading this with a couple of people on the Whateverathon Discord, and it's going to be a fun time. I haven't read Brandon Sanderson in a couple of months when I reread Elantris. I am slowly trying to go through the Cosmere so I can finish off the Stormlight Archive, but I don't know, I keep putting it off for some reason. I have Warbreaker, The Way of Kings and Words of Radiance Part 1 at least ready to go. So I need to stop putting it off and actually just get on with it, and hopefully this will be a good start. Then we have a book that features the team colour. For this, I went with Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I could have gone for pretty much anything with this. Obviously, the team colour is black, and there are so many fantasy books with black covers, but this is like one of the only Leigh Bardugo books I have never read, and I really love her as an author. I know this one has some very mixed reviews, some very dark topics, and again, a recurring theme. I don't know too much about it.
I was wearing today.
Yes. I know this is like a dark academia book, which is something I haven't really read very much, and it follows main character Alex Stern, and she gets pulled into this, like, I don't want to say cult, but maybe a cult at her like local university. Like I said, I don't overly know. Like I said, there are lots and lots of trigger warnings surrounding this book, so if you want to pick it up, I would probably check those out. Thankfully, I'm not too affected for the most part about things that happen in books, so I think I'll be all right, hopefully. It hopefully don't gross me out too much. Then I'm having to move over for this one because I did this bit specifically because the next challenge is the last letter of the previous title has to be the first letter of the next title. So obviously Ninth House ends with E. So I searched and searched my bookshelf because apparently it's not very easy to find a book in my shelves beginning with the word E. But I went for Ember Queen by Laura Sebastian. This is the second book in the Ash Princess trilogy. the first book I read a couple of years ago and I devoured it. I loved it so much, but didn't pick up the sequel until apparently now, which is a little bit awkward because I can't overly remember what happened in the first book. I know we had our main character, I can't even remember her name at this point, Theodosia, and basically she was kept prisoner, I believe, by her uncle, who was the king, and she has special powers, and that's pretty much all I can remember. I might need to sort of do a recap online about the first book before I dive into this one. Then we have a 5-star prediction, which I've gone for Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. This is a fantasy that is set in a library of all things, and I think like the books have demons in, and you've got to be nice to them. If you don't, then the demons will set forth and cause mayhem. So it sounds like a really fun read. I've heard nothing but good things about this book. I don't think sorry, child. Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard a single negative review about this book, and it sounds just up my street. So I really can't wait to read it. I got it in a fairy loot, and it's got like shimmery spine edges, and it was like one of my anticipated releases for the year. No, because I am only just picking it up now because I am terrible for things like that. Magnus, may I get off? I'm just going to apologise now for the child. He is just causing mayhem and just making a mess of everything. So next we have a book that was hauled in the past year, for which I've gone from The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. This is an Achilles retelling, as you can probably tell by the name, and it follows him and Patroclus, I think.
I guess the book's meant to be in that.
Patroclus, I don't know how you say his name, but I think they have like a bit of a hate to love story going on, and once again, story of my life. I don't know too much about this one. I seem to just like going into books blind, which I'm aware is probably not the best thing for doing booktube, but I don't know, it's just how I like doing things. But again, I've heard nothing but good things about this, and I picked this up in the end because Reagan from Paris Project, she read it on one of her weekend vlogs, and like she was obsessed. Yes, that's me. She was obsessed by this book. She was crying over it, and so I had to pick it up. Then on similar vein, I did the last one is for Poll Pick, which I did over on Discord. I put up, I gotta try and remember now, We Hunt the Flame, Warbreaker, Circe, and I can't remember what the first book was at all, but Circe won by a landslide. So I'm getting all of my fill on Madeline Miller Greek retellings this month, and I am there for it. Again, heard nothing but good things about this one. I actually got this one on a secret Santa on one of my British groups for Christmas. And yeah, again, not had a chance to pick it up until now. So I'm so sorry about the wild child. It really is past his bedtime, but what are we going to do? So yeah, like I said, I am skipping the disability mental health representation because honestly, I've got enough of them on myself to deal with right now, and I think, as selfish as it might sound, I need to focus on me when it comes to things like that and not other like fictional characters. So I'm just gonna have to go now because he's just getting out of control. So thanks for watching. I hope you made it this far. I will be trying to vlog my experience the whole way through, doing weekly vlogs. So I will see you then, and obviously I will try and get a video posted every week. Bye.